Trip again.
So welcome to this episode, everyone. For this adventure, finally gonna dip into the waters of bikepacking. I spent 3 days and 2 nights traveling to, around, and then back from the lovely Loyalsock State Forest. This was my first ever official self-supported bikepacking trip, so I definitely took my time in preparing, making sure I had everything I needed, and there was still a lot that I learned on the way. Overall, the trip went great, but there definitely were a few things that I would have changed if I were to do this again, and some other things that I'm going to adjust in my gear the next time I do a bikepacking trip. Before we go through those changes though, let's jump into the video itself. If you are interested in the gear that I used and what I had on my bike for this trip, stick around till the end. I'll run through all my gear there. Let's jump into the video.
Trip again. Starting off on a beautiful Susquehanna Warrior Trail. Got 55-ish miles to do today to get to where I plan on camping. Today's the only day I'm really worried about because I don't want to set up camp in the dark. I work today, so it's already after 3. But I'll try and push this heavy bike as quick as I can to make it there before sundown.
But on this first day, I ended up cutting my intended route a little short. Leaving after work, I put myself in a position where I had to push my pace in order to reach my planned destination. Due to the high pace and the loaded bike, I ended up overexerting myself in the afternoon heat. I was thankfully able to feel this coming on and was able to mentally convince myself that I needed to stop. I found a nice spot by a roadside spring, set up a stealth camp, and stayed there for the night.
Starting off day 2 here. Climbing up Mountain Road out of Jameson City. Took my time, recalculated when packing things this morning. Laid stuff out a bit nicer. I think the biggest issue yesterday was my backpack was way too heavy. That was probably what caused the most fatigue, was just my shoulders and back and the neck. I had a lot of random items in there, so dispersed them a boot. Some of my other bags, so I feel a lot more comfortable already today. Let's get after it. Gotta finish this climb out. This was about 4 miles. I was probably about mile into it already though, so it'll be a little shorter. And then the real pain, the Rhines Road. That one's a doozy. That'll officially take me into the Loyalsock. And meander through there, maybe go to 1 or 2 of the vistas, and make my way to second camp for the evening. To the top of the first big climb. Dropping. Look at this guy.
So this is the Sonestown Covered Bridge, built by Sadler S. Rogers. There used to be a total of 30 of these in Sullivan County. By now there's only 3, and all 3 of these, Forksville, Hillsgrove, and Sonestown itself here, you could definitely incorporate into one nice 3 covered bridge ride, which maybe we'll have to do in the future. After the covered bridge was the turn onto Rhines Road, or Ritchie Road as it is on Strava, and man, this one's a doozy.
we go. Heading up again. This is the other doozy. I rode this one time, I remember, on my regular gravel bike on a regular ride. I remember it being a bear then, so it was going to be even more fun loaded down with gear. As I'm riding this section though, this was part of my intended route yesterday still, so 100% happy with the choice I made to stealth camp back there. I would definitely not have made this, and I would have been stuck.
Yes, so as I said there, definitely glad I made the choice to stop early yesterday. Had I tried to tackle these two climbs, then, yeah, I would have died.
Into the Loyalsock. 2 climbs out of the way, 2 to go. Climbing up the lovely dry run road. I'm just descended down from Hunter's Lakes, now climb back up. Stop at the waterfall and refilter some water. And we're gonna climb up to High Knob Overlook for lunch. See you there. Climb on. Coming up in the High Knob Vista. Lunchtime.
So this vista reveals a beautiful open expanse, and being up here on a weekday, I had it all to myself, and it just amplified the beauty. And with the availability of picnic tables and even a restroom, this was a perfect spot for a lunch break.
Buffalo style.
So after a lovely lunch and coffee, I finished off the climb on High Knob Road and made my way towards Shanersburg. At the end of Shanersburg, I rode on 154 for a moment, which led me to the start of my last climb up Rock Run Road.
Last climb of the day. Climbing up Rock Run to Soane's Pond. That's where my site's gonna be for tonight. One more.
So after a comparatively short climb compared to the rest of them on the day, I made my way up to Soane's Pond, took in the view a little bit, and then rode just a couple 100 yards down the road further to where I would camp for the night. Once here, took a moment, put my feet up, and relaxed, and enjoyed another meal before I decided what to do for the evening.
Man, 2 good new flavors today. Alfredo's pretty rocking too.
So after dinner, there was still some daylight left, so I left camp and took a quick hike on the Loyalsock Trail around Soane's Pond to watch the sunset. And man, I am glad I did, because there were some beautiful scenes. So after a good night's sleep, woke up the next morning, as most trips go, not believing that it was already the last day of this adventure. So I made my last breakfast, made my last travel coffee, and got ready to start making the long trip back home.
On paved concrete, on the right roads, just had the wrong wheel.
Last morning in the sock already. So day 3. Today, I think my original route was right around 65 miles. I was looking at the map last night. I think I found a way where I could definitely cut out one of the massive climbs for a little bit more of a flatter version. So we'll see if I can make the whole route back to the house. Otherwise, Leah's off of work at 3, so I have her on backup to come get me a little bit if I struggle to make it to the end. The trip was a blast so far, so I don't want to ruin it by trying to push through it just to get home. Definitely take the bail out if possible. But learned a lot already on this trip about bike packing. But one of the most important things I've learned is that's a change in mindset for sure. When you hit a climb, you know, you're not sprinting up that thing. You just got to gear down, enjoy it. Same with the ride itself. Just slow down and enjoy it. With a big loaded bike like that, you're not racing to get anywhere. I think that was my mistake on day 1. I left to work all full of excitement, you know, trying to hammer out this 50 to get to the campsite. And that's not how it works with a loaded bike. So we'll try and get the whole ride done today, try and make it back to the house. But yeah, if that doesn't happen, that's it. I'll call it short where I end. Hey, all packed up. Thank you, lovely campsite. Last day riding. Let's go. Ooh, lovely morning. So I'm excited for the first part of the route today. It's all on roads that I've never been on yet. I think the first 20 miles at least, so it's always fun. Not sure what I'll run into. Downhill so far. Waterfall. I'm sure that will change soon. Oh, there's the climb. I have to climb to get into the sock. I have to climb to leave the sock. Does that make any sense?
As stated, the start of today's route was new to me roads, so that's always exciting, and they did not let me down. There were some beautiful scenes on these first 20 miles.
Colonel Dam.
At the conclusion of Connell's Dam, I had a charge down 487 to a left-hand turn onto Mountain Springs Road. This road goes through Gainlands 57 and gave me a nearly 12-mile descent into the town of Noxon. Once in Noxon, I stopped at the local Unimart, ate this frozen Twix ice cream bar and hoagie like they were the last ones ever made, refilled my liquids. After eating those, I felt pretty good, and I decided I'm going to keep going for it and see if I can make it to Harvey's Lake and then see what happened then.
Ew, last road. I ended up feeling a lot better today. I was going to have Leah pick me up at Harvey's Lake, but I got there about an hour and a half earlier than she was going to be able to get there, so just kept cruising. Took the most direct way home, but made it on my own power. Finish off this lovely bike packing loop. Ew.
So there it is, my first bike packing trip in the books. Over the 3 days, I covered 142.6 miles and climbed 12,763 feet to, around, and back from the lovely Loyalsock State Forest. I'm so fortunate and thankful to be able to complete trips like this. Bikepacking has been something I have been dreaming of for a while, and it was so amazing to put plans into action. I can't wait for the next one. So hope you enjoyed the video. Beautiful area. As you know, if you watch my channel, the Loyalsock is just an awesome area. So much to see there. I'm still finding new stuff myself. As far as the changes go and what I learned on this trip, I said the one there towards the end of the video was definitely just a change in mindset. When on a bikepacking trip, you definitely have to learn to relax a little bit. And so that first day I tried to kind of hammer out the miles to get to where I needed to be. And personally anyway, I don't think that's the mindset you want to have, and I realized that quickly. Just stop, relax, slow pedal some stretches, especially steep climbs, rather than trying to sprint them. Sit in the saddle and spin it out and enjoy it so that you don't tucker yourself out in the long run. It's a lot different pedaling all that gear around on you. The second big mistake I made, which attributed to me having to stop early on that first day for sure, was my backpack. If you ride with me, I always have a backpack on with camera gear and whatnot in it. So when I was packing up for this trip, I kind of figured, I always wear a backpack, so what's the big deal? So I put a decent amount of stuff in that pack. Not the way to go. The second day when I repacked, I took a lot of that stuff out there and was able to get it in different parts on my bike. That helped out a lot. By the third day on the trip home, I had pretty much nothing in that backpack, and that made the difference. I was able to make it the 60 miles no sweat and could have went more if I wanted to. So definitely, if you're doing one of these trips on your own, ditch the backpack, get the gear as much as you can on your bike, whatever that setup needs to be to make that happen. Those are the two main things that I would change or adjust for the next time I do one of these trips. If you're on the fence about bikepacking, I would definitely say jump in, do it. If you're looking to collect the gear, over the winter is definitely a good time to do that. I was able to find a sale on the one site. They had most of the salsa stuff 50% off. So that's why you'll see in the gear review at the end here, most of my bags on my bike were salsa. Another bag I had on the front there, I was able to find used. So that's another route you go as well to save yourself some money. So check out places like Pink Bike or a local bike swap meet or things like that to find your gear cheap. That's it for this video though. If you want to stick around, I'm going to go through the bike setup that I use now. If you're interested in that, here we go. So my bike choice for this trip was my trusty Salsa Fargo with Apex shifters and 29 by 2.6 tires. Starting with my frame bag, I was running a Salsa EXP Series HT, and this was bag number 5. Due to my small frame, really couldn't fit too much in said bag, so what I used this for was mainly my emergency supplies. I had my bike tools in here in case of quick repairs, and I also had my first aid kit and a few other little items stashed in here that I wasn't really going to need access to unless something came up. For my trunk, I had another Salsa bag, the EXP series as well, the seat bag. In here I had my sleeping pad, a change of clothes for at camp, a light jacket, some toiletries, and a little bit of food. Up front was another piece of gear from Salsa, and this was a 2-part system. I had the EXP series anything cradle coupled with the EXP series side load dry bag. Up here, I basically had the rest of my sleeping system. I had my tent, my sleeping bag, my pillow, and then by the end of the trip, I was able to squeeze a few other extra items in here to get them out of my backpack. Up on the front fork, I had 2 Salsa anything cages. On one side, I had my water, and on the other side, I had a dry bag, which contained most of my food and also my cooking system, which was a jet oil flash. On the back side of my right fork, I had a bottle cage to put an additional water bottle, and up top by my stem, I had a Nittany Mountain Works mini thing bag. I actually had 2 of these, but the second one didn't come in time. They were used to stash some snacks and anything else I needed quick access to. My tent poles were also strapped to my top tube. For navigation purposes, I had my trusty Wahoo Element, and I also had a Garmin InReach Mini for emergencies in areas without cell service. So there she is in all her glory, the tank. If you have any questions about any of the gear or anything I missed, feel free to leave a comment below or shoot me a message on Instagram. So that's it for this one. Definitely already excited and looking forward to planning my next bikepacking trip. Till then though, coffee, cycling, take both. We'll see you out there.